Boker Tov and good morning and Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Central Synagogue, and it is a glorious spring morning here in New York City. We're so thrilled that you're here with us. I'm Rabbi Mo Salth, joined by our senior rabbi, Angela Bukta, who you just saw open our service, our wonderful musicians, and we're so thrilled that our bar mitzvah, Andrew Gottlieb, is here as well, sitting with his family. Can you give a wave, Andrew, to the crowds that are joining us? We're lucky we have a nice crowd here in our sanctuary to celebrate as well as you help us lead this morning service. And Andrew, I was thinking as I was coming to the synagogue today that not just all your friends and family in this community is so excited about you, but the cherry trees and the tulips are standing there at full attention on Park Avenue to say, hallelujah, it's Shabbat, and this is the morning which Andrew becomes bar mitzvah. Did you see them on the way here today? They're pretty glorious, as are you. So we're looking forward to it all, and we're so glad that we have friends from near and far joining us for Shabbat services. You can follow along in our prayer book and our order of service at centralsynagogue.org. And we just invite you to breathe and be and celebrate Shabbat with us this morning.
We continue now with a call to worship. Baruch Hu, I'll invite you to rise with us if you are able. And if you've got a prayer book with you, it's on page 108. Lai, 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Ya la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. I invite you to be seated, and we will continue with the prayer, the watchword of our faith. You can follow along on page 115. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. We continue. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue with words of redemption with the Mi Chamocha prayer. This is a beautiful, particular setting in which there is an echo. It reminds us of when the ancestors were at the Red Sea and Moses sang and the people responded. So I hope you will join in this melody with us, page 122. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. And you repeat, Nora, tehilot, oseh, tehilot, oseh, feleh, micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, micha mocha nedar ba'kodesh. Tehilot, oseh, feleh, Nora, tehilot, oseh,
The tephila prayer will begin with the first line, and as is customary in many communities, will continue silently. If you're able to, please rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, u'mevii gula libnei bneihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיים מתים, אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הפצועים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. I invite our community to continue on at their own pace, either using the words found in our prayer book or closing it and offering the words of our hearts. We continue in silence.
except this week. Sorry.
Do we do Kaddish usually?
No.
Okay.
That's not a very important text, you know.
I can't wait to go back.
I do a little, cover the rose window here. Sure?
No, because then I have to grab the.
Okay, whatever you want.
No, I don't.
Imre fi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri
We are entering the section of the service called Seder Hakriyat Torah, the service for the reading of the Torah. And Andrew, I'm going to invite you to introduce this section of our worship.
Adonai's teachings flow from Jerusalem. This scroll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Andrew, you're surrounded by your beautiful family. And on this morning where you become bar mitzvah, they have some words to share with you. I believe we're going to start with your siblings. So come up closer to the mic, and then we'll hear from your mom.
Shabbat Shalom. As you all know, I'm Alex.
I'm Caroline.
And I'm David.
Andrew. As the three of us sat together to think about, to think about what we wanted to say to you this morning on the Bima, we decided it would be best to remind you that it's no secret we've set the bar pretty high for these things. Regardless, we watched you prepare and are sure that...
Well, let's just say the bar isn't going anywhere. In all seriousness, Andrew has worked so hard these past few months in preparation for this day, and we can't wait for everyone to hear you chant and deliver your clever Dvar. He secretly can carry a tune, so look out for that.
You are a wonderful brother, and we are so proud of you and look forward to celebrating with you all day.
Mazel tov.
Great, thank you so much. Why don't you step to the left of your brother or behind your mom, either way. You can keep your mask off when you're on the bima. It's okay because you were at a distance.
Andrew. People always say that time flies, and it is so cliche, but it is so true. How is it even possible that you are 13 years old and about to become a bar mitzvah? Our Jewish faith and Central Synagogue have played such an integral role in our family values and in your upbringing. Although it feels like yesterday, it has been almost 8 years to the day since I stood here with your brother David and beamed with pride as he chanted from the Torah and delivered a heartfelt Dvar that talked about the importance of giving and the scholarship that we created in Daddy's name at Wesleyan. Only 2 years later, Alex taught us about Noah and what it means to be a righteous, upstanding citizen. Finally, just 2 years ago, your sister Caroline stood on the bima with Rabbi Salth and Rabbi Buchdahl and so beautifully discussed the importance of humanity and offering support and a smile to all people. These are just some of the values that we have embraced as a family that have been inspired and guided by your Jewish heritage. And so now it's your turn. There was absolutely no doubt that you would approach your study in preparation for today with commitment, diligence, high standards, and drive for success, just as you have done with your schoolwork, sports, and truly anything that you set out to achieve. You quickly won the heart of your tutor Agnes, who wrote weekly with updates on your progress, highlighting not only how well you were doing in learning the blessings, your Torah portion, and your Haftarah, but also how kind, warm, and considerate you are, and what a pleasure it was for her to work with you. I can't wait to see you shine. Were we not still navigating through a pandemic, this would be the moment in the service when Grandma Carol and I would literally pass the Torah down to you. It is one of my favorite parts of a mitzvah service at Central. First, although they are not here, I want you to know that your grandparents, Grandpa Barry, Grandma Nat, and Grandpa Bob, and of course Daddy, are so incredibly proud of you. Grandma Nat and Grandpa Bob were so lucky to watch you grow up, and I know that you have so many special memories of the times you spent together. Your Hebrew name, Asher Matan, means happy gift, and that is exactly what you have meant to our family since the moment you were born. Fortunately, Central has provided an alternative way to represent the passing of the Torah from generation to generation. Although I don't have an ancient artifact or a family heirloom to give you, I do have something that has been very important to me throughout my life and on special occasions. This Kaddish cup was given to me by my synagogue when I became a bat mitzvah many years ago. I have used this Kaddish cup at many milestone events, such as my wedding, your bris, your brother's bris, your sister's baby namings, and all the many Jewish holidays that we have celebrated. Today, you will receive your very own Kaddish cup as a gift from Central Synagogue. May you have as many joyous opportunities to use this cup in your future and to recall and remember the extraordinary milestone and occasion of becoming a Jewish adult. I love you so very much.
Thank you, Bethel, and thank you, David and Alex and Caroline. So beautiful and so moving to hear your words. And we're going to now ask you, Andrew, to introduce and explain what portion you're reading from and welcome up the first aliyah.
My Torah portion is taken from Parshat Kedoshim, from the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verses 1 through 12. For my first aliyah, I call upon my grandma Carol and my sisters Alex and Caroline.
So we'll welcome you to stand to the right of Andrew. And when your grandma's with you, you can begin the... Carol, why don't you stand to the right of Andrew's for you can see the blessing on the podium.
Which one is it? Which one is it? Oh, this. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Baruch hu et Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael. V'amarta alehem kedoshim tiyu, ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. איש אמו ואביו תיראו, ואת שבתותי תשמרו. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אל תפנו אל האלילים ואלוהי מסכה לא תעשו לכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tokenu, baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Andrew, can you call the second aliyah, please?
For my second aliyah, I call upon my mom Bethel and my brother David.
So I'll have you switch places with David and Bethel. You can go to the left side of Andrew.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'chi tizbehu zevach shulamim l'Adonai, lirtzonchem tizbehu. Bayom ziv hachem yeyachel umimochorat, v'hanotar ad yom hashlishi ba'esh yisaref, ve'im he'achol yeyachel bayom hashlishi, piguhu lo yeratzeh, v'chlav avano isa, ki et kodesh Adonai chilel, v'nichrata hanefesh hahi meyameha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Baruch
Oh, wait 1 second. Rabbi Buchtel wants to share a few words with you. But you're right. Right.
That
on
is the
tune.
next thing, but I get to say a few things and call you up by your Hebrew name. Andrew, that was remarkable and beautiful. I'm so glad you're up there surrounded by your family. Your sisters were absolutely right that your three siblings set a very high bar, but you absolutely maybe even raised it. And I have to say that 4 for 4 on the set of Gottlieb Children. Rabbi Salt and I have been so privileged to be a part of each one of these occasions, and we give such incredible mazel tov to, first of all, to your mother, who brought each of you to that moment with the village that has been a part of your lives, and Central has been privileged to be a part of that at every step along the way. And we could not be more proud of you and love your family, and you've brought so much to us already. We can't wait to hear your Dvar Torah, and your chanting is excellent. And I have the privilege now to call you for this moment in which you are called for the first time to Aliyah. It is by your Hebrew name, which connects you with your parents and all those who come before you. And it is this moment that marks your taking your place in our community. And we could not feel more grateful and proud. Yamod Yamod ha-bar mitzvah, Asher Matan ben Binyamin Mubasha Laliyat Torah. Now it's your turn.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam
Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Uvkutrehem et katzir artzechem lo techale pe'at tzadcha liksor v'leket katzircha lo telaked v'charmecha lo te'olel uferet karmecha lo telaked le'ani v'lager ta'azov otam ani Adonai Elohechem. Lo tignovu v'lo tahashu v'lo tishakru ish ba'mito v'lo tishavu v'ishmi la shaker v'chilota et Shem Elohecha ani Adonai.
Beautifully done. You can do the blessing afterwards now.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Such a beautiful job chanting Torah. I'm going to invite your family to return to their seats. I'm going to have you just step to the side a little bit and move that little step so you can be right in front of the microphone. And I'll have you introduce your Haftarah and then chant it.
The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Amos. I will be reading from chapter 9, verses 11 through 15. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher wrong one. Wrong one.
Oh, wrong one? Okay, good. See?
Oops.
That's a sign of a student who knows his material when he recognizes it's the after. So start, again, the blessing before the Haftarah. Do you have it there?
Yeah.
Great.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar bin v'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv-Moshe avdo uv-Yisrael amo uvim-vi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Bayom hahu akim et sukat David hanofele v'gedarti et pirtzehen v'harisotav akim uvniti hakimei olam leman yirshu et sherit Edom v'chol hagoyim asher nikra shemi alehem ne'um Adonai oseh zot. Hinei yamim ba'im ne'um Adonai v'nigash choresh b'kotzer v'dorech anavim b'moshech hazara v'hitifu haharim asis v'chol hagvaot titmogagna v'shavti et shrudami Yisrael uvanu arim nishamot v'yashavu v'natu charamim v'shatu et yenam ve'asu ganot ve'achlu et perihem untatim al admatam velo yinashu od me'al admatam asher natati lachem amar Adonai Elohecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzedik b'chol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'oseh hamdaber umkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lehavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otah itbarach shimha b'fi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Such beautiful chanting. Thank you, Andrew. Just lift the mic a teeny bit closer to you because we want to hear you as you teach us about your iconic Torah portion. Let's hear your Dvar Torah now.
My parshat, Kiddushim, is taken from the book of Leviticus, chapter 19. In this section of the Torah, God tells Moses a set of laws that he will later pass on to the Israelites. In modern day, some of these laws are still relevant, such as respecting your mother and father, while others seem archaic and outdated, like not planting different kinds of seeds on the same field. This portion is also known as the Holiness Code, a group of laws regarding how to be holy. We return to and read Leviticus 19 again on Yom Kippur because of its importance to the foundation of Judaism and its connection to the Day of Atonement, the holiest day of the year. To be honest with you, my portion is not very dramatic. There's no parting of a sea, there's no flood, there's no escaping from persecution. What I'm trying to say is that there's no big story, but there are some interesting laws. When I was reading interpretations of my portion with my rabbi, Rabbi South, we came across this law: you shall not render an unfair decision. Coming across this law, you're like, duh, obviously I make just choices. But if you really think about it, following this law is much easier said than done. Let me paint you a nice picture. In the Gottlieb family playroom, one of our favorite board games sits right on the floor, the game of life. 4 siblings play, only one can win. Some ways into the game, Caroline, my sister, picks up a lawsuit card, which she can use on any player. As she stares each of us down to choose her victim, my brother David can't keep a poker face. My other sister Alex is unfazed, and soon everyone in the room is very aware that I, Andrew, am the chosen one. Later on, I picked up my own lawsuit card. For reference, Alex is way ahead in first, with David close behind in second, myself in third, and Caroline in last place. In terms of following the Torah, I should fairly choose who I'm going to sue. Fair might be to take money from the one who is the richest, who will be unaffected by this loss. But fair to me would mean getting a little revenge on Caroline. Despite Caroline's begging for me to sue Alex, I place the card down and say, Caroline, can I get my 80K in hundreds, please? Remember, you shall not render an unfair decision. Being fair is about being equitable. For more of a real-life example, say your workplace uses a blind hiring system. This system is designed to only view people's qualifications, not identifiers such as race or gender. You choose who gets the job solely based on who is the best fit. Blind hiring is a step towards achieving equity all over the world, though it isn't perfect. Without equity in other systems of society, there will still be those with unearned advantages that get them the job. Race and gender still affect your education, opportunities, and resources that get placed on a resume, and in this way, the blind hiring system cannot stand alone in creating equity worldwide. In the game of life, equity can be achieved much more easily. While I love any chance to get back at my sister, if the amount of money each of my siblings had was presented to me without knowing who was who, the fair decision is quite clear to me. Sue the person who can afford it, not the one who will suffer along the risky path all the way to the millionaire mansion retirement home. There are ways that we can create equity in our everyday lives that are not as unrealistic as a board game or as complex as a country's bias systems. At school, we could be deciding who we want to be class president or any sort of representative position. It's important that we base our votes off of who we think will do the best. In many other scenarios, I definitely have voted for someone because they are my friend. It will be hard at times, but we can all strive to make fair decisions and overcome our biases. Today, I become a bar mitzvah. As I go forward, I'll keep this commandment in mind and will do my best to make decisions that are fair and just. I'd like to thank everyone who has been a part of my journey to becoming a bar mitzvah. My mom, my sister Alex, my sister Caroline, my brother David, Rabbi Salth, Rabbi Bukdal, and my tutor Agnes. I'd also like to thank all of the Central Synagogue staff for making this day possible in the midst of a pandemic. So now, I ask all of you, who are you going to sue?
All right, Andrew, thank you so much for not only that teaching, but such a beautiful chanting and presence. And I'll just add to what Rabbi Bukdal shared with you earlier, how honored I am to be with you and your family today. When your brother became bar mitzvah, you stood right there on that step, but shorter. I shared with you some secrets that day, which we'll just keep right now between ourselves. And today, you have not shared secrets, but some real truths about how to be. And you live out those truths all the time. There's a sense in our community. People say, "Oh, why is Central Synagogue thriving? What's your secret?" And I'm just telling you right now, you're looking at part of the secret sauce of this Gottlieb family, which has given us so much. And we've been so privileged to be together in joyous times and difficult times. And together with your friends and family, we are this community. And you are an essential part of that, Andrew. I want to thank you, and I want to congratulate you on this day you become bar mitzvah. I'm going to invite your siblings back up, and your mom, too. We're going to invite the congregation to rise as we sing Siman Tov and Mazel Tov in celebration of you on this very special day.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Hey, hey.
The congregation to remain standing, and your family, you can return to your seats. Andrew, you and I are going to come up to the ark for a few moments.
To a place you do not know. Lech on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing.
We're about to recite the words of Mourner's Kaddish, and as we prepare to do so, we remember from your family, Andrew, these loved ones, your father, Brian, your grandfather, Barry, your grandmother, Natalie, and your grandfather, Bob. And we also name these dear ones from the Central Synagogue community who have died in the past 30 days: Stanford Abram, Lawrence Aubrey Brenzel, Norma Friedman, Dan Goldman, Alyssa Epstein, Ellis Kern, Miriam Kleinfield, Alan Michael Levy, Dorothy Norris, Adam Tedesco, and Larry Weisberg. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, b'yomah divrach yutev v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomachon v'chayidach al beit Yisrael, ba'agala uzman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach, le'olam omei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ala min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiram b'yomah v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Siblings and you back to the podium as we close out our song. You've lifted us so high this morning, and we're going to end with some song to help us continue the blessings that you've given us today.
This song is about joy and gladness, which we truly feel. And Andrew, thank you for lifting us up this morning. La Yehudim, Haftarah, Haftarah, v'simcha, v'sason.
Jewish community had light, joy, gladness, and honor. So it was, and so it is today. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Mazel tov. Shabbat Shalom.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסמו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, פסמו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו,
וכל העמים
Shabbat Shalom, friends. We begin with these words on your order of service. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah. Let us sing together. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Welcome
Shalom.
to Central Synagogue. I'm Rabbi Mo Salt, joined by my friend and colleague, Cantor Julia Kadrain, who's just one level below us because we're still in the process of creating protocols where we can be safe to pray together. So she's with our musician downstairs. I'm lucky to be in the congregation with beautiful friends and family of our bat mitzvah. Sophie, can you give a wave to everyone here? And we know we have friends of yours and friends of this community joining us for Shabbat morning service, and it's such a special joy, in particular, to have you help us lead the service. Sophie, did you notice all week, cold, rain, wind, morning of Sophie's bat mitzvah, beautiful spring, gorgeous day. It's like the weather was waiting out to say, hallelujah, this is the day when Sophie helps us lead Shabbat morning services. So for those of you that not New York, it's a quintessential spring day. The tulips are standing tall, the cherries are blooming, and we are bursting here at Central Synagogue to be able to celebrate Shabbat, in particular with you, Sophie, and your family. I saw a picture of your father who stood on this bima when he became bar mitzvah a few years ago. And so it's there's just so much heart this morning that I'm feeling, and we're going to pray, and we're going to learn from you, and we're going to just enjoy Shabbat together.
Amen. Let us continue with the call to prayer, the Baruch Hu, page 108. We invite you to please rise, and as we're rising, Sophie will invite you to make your way up for your part in just a moment. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. Page 114. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. Sophie will invite you to lead us now in the Haftarah, page 116.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך.
ושנתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. ופשטם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Sophie, you're amazing.
Nicely done.
Thank you so much. You can find your seat again now for a few minutes, Sophie, and we'll continue on page 122 with our Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha. Kodesh, nora tephila, tephila, nora tephila, tephila, la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Page 124, we rise together. Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi hagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
We'll continue silently in our prayer book through the words of the tephila that goes through page 139.
Imrefi, vehegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri. Go
We have now entered the service for the reading of the Torah Seder, Kriyat HaTorah. Sophie, can you please introduce this section of the service for us?
The light of the Torah shines forth from Zion. Adonai's teachings flow from Jerusalem. This scroll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Now we're so pleased that your sister and your parents will take a few moments to speak with you. Just turn towards them as they're talking to you so you can hear everything.
My sister Sophie is one of the nicest people I know. When the pandemic struck New York City and forced everyone apart, it brought me and my sister together. My family and I left the city where my sister and I played and biked outside to our heart's content. Sophie and I have spent more time together this year than ever before, and I'm so grateful for that. She comforts me when I need comfort and is always there for me. Sophie and I enjoy doing fun things together, and she always includes me. She loves volleyball, dancing, and cooking, but not as much as reading, which is her real passion. In fact, she read almost 90 books since the start of quarantine. Sophie loves helping others, especially her friends and family. Not only is she generous, but Sophie is an extremely studious and determined person. I love you so much, Sophie. Mazel tov.
Thank you so much for those beautiful words. You can return to the congregation to sit. Way to go, Annabelle. So beautiful. And now, so if we turn to your parents, I know they have some words to share with you as well.
Okay. Well, first, I want to thank our family and our friends for joining us today, both in person and by live stream. We are so grateful that you took the time to celebrate this milestone with our family. Thank you also to the Central Synagogue community. We are thrilled to be back in the sanctuary. Sophie, on the day you were born, Daddy and I were overjoyed. We knew that we were going to name you Sophie. However, we hadn't picked out your middle name until the moment in the delivery room when the doctor asked the baby's name. We noticed your bright rosy cheeks right away, and that, along with your dad's love of the song Rosalita, was how you came to be known as Sophie Rose. From the time you could walk, you loved animals of all kinds. You also loved to read, play outside, and you have always been a people person. You still connect with people of all ages, and you enjoy being with and helping others, your friends and family in particular. Part of the bat mitzvah tradition is called Lador Vador, the passing of a ritual object from one generation to the next. We thought about what to choose for a while and decided to share something that links you to our family and to the past. We would like to pass it on to you today on your bat mitzvah as you become the next link in our family's chain. In the early 1900s, your great-grandma Eva, my grandma, was 2 years old when she and her family left their home in Vilnius, Lithuania. They left to escape pogroms and growing anti-Semitism for a better life in America. Her family left with few belongings except for the clothes they wore and the blankets they used for warmth. Your great-grandma Eva's wool blanket was red. This was considered an auspicious color, which was thought to be able to protect her from danger. I don't know that any of them knew the adventures this blanket would have in America. Her mother, your great-great-grandma Norma, fastened a piece of that blanket under Eva's bed when she was a baby. Then my grandmother, Eva, fastened a piece of that same blanket under your grandma Lila's crib. I bet you know where this is going. My mom, in turn, fastened a piece of this red blanket under my crib and my brother's cribs when we were babies. And over 100 years after that red blanket made its way to America, Daddy and I also fastened a piece of it underneath both your and your sister Annabelle's cribs for good luck as well. Today, we are passing along this story as well as a small fragment from that same red wool blanket to you as you take your place as an adult member of the Jewish community. We hope that it keeps you safe and that it helps you feel the importance of warmth, family, and love as it connects you to your past. Sophie, we are very proud of the person you have become. In the last year, you have shown us your bravery and your grace. We left our home in the city for a time and settled elsewhere. You isolated with us for months without seeing your friends or your beloved grandparents. You attended school online and you handled it all beautifully. Then you had eye surgery during lockdown and you coped with the illness of a close relative, all while working hard at your schoolwork and studying diligently for your bat mitzvah. The past year has not been an easy one, but we are so gratified to have watched you deal with the challenges presented with such positive spirit and ability. It takes practice and work, and you have put in that work. We want you to know that we recognize it, and we are proud of you for it. We love you and your sister Annabelle very much. As you go forward into your teens and then into your adulthood, we want you to continue to have fun, work hard, listen well, be generous, and stay humble. Even more importantly, we want you to remain true to yourself and your values and to enjoy the journey along the way.
Many years ago, I stood on this very bima and read the Torah as I became a bar mitzvah. I also read from Leviticus about laws passed down to Moses. I now know how my parents must have felt seeing me up here because I now feel that same way about you, full of pride, happiness, and hope. I also know if your grandfather, my father, was here today, he would be smiling from ear to ear. Sophie, Mom and I could not be more proud of you and the work you put in to get to today. You have practiced diligently and had a great attitude. You did not complain or have any doubts. You set out to learn your material, and you did. This last year has been nothing short of unique and difficult. I cannot imagine just how strange and challenging it was for a child. When COVID changed the rules, you rolled with it. Zoom classes, no problem. Keeping to a semblance of a schedule, no problem. Staying in touch with friends and making new ones, no problem. Figuring out creative ways to amuse yourself, no problem. Watching more TV in a year than your entire lifetime combined, no problem. To be fair, I actually learned something from this last point. I mean, who knew they made 5 Die Hard movies? I could only remember 3, but 3 or 5, I've enjoyed watching those 3 with you, and I promise we will start on number 4 very soon. Throughout this past year, you have come into your own and have shown your mom and me a maturity and resilience beyond what we could have expected, let alone wished for. You've been a loving daughter and a great sister and are always ready to share a laugh or a hug. You have come of age and are worthy of your title of bat mitzvah. In the future, the world is your oyster, but remember that it requires the skills you have used to prepare for today: hard work, humility, resilience, curiosity, and a supportive network of family and friends. You will never need to go it alone because you have all of those. But should you ever need to, remember, you have all of those things. I also want to take a moment to thank everyone. Your mom worked tirelessly for the last few months to make this day happen, and she deserves a special thanks. I also want to thank all of our friends and family watching and streaming in their support. This isn't the way we envisioned this day would be, but even though everyone isn't here in person, we can still feel their presence and good wishes. We love you.
Such moving words and such resilience, Sophie, and your family. Not just this past year, but really we have heard through generations, and with you the next in line. And it's with great pride that I invite you to introduce your Torah portion and your first aliyah.
My Torah portion is taken from Parshat Achrei Mot Kedoshim from the book of Leviticus, chapter 16, verses 20 through 30. For my first aliyah, I call upon my Uncle Bill and Aunt Melissa, my Aunt Tracy and Uncle Harris, and my cousins Charlotte and Wyatt.
Now, some of your family is joining us by Zoom. I'll invite Bill and Melissa to come up in person. You can go either next to Sophie. I don't know how you're doing with the pod, so you can go there and then right in front of that podium, and you can do the blessing beforehand. And by the way, we're so glad you're here. I know it was an effort to get here, and how great it is that you're with us.
Baruch Adonai, Baruch Hu et Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
So if you can read your first section from the Torah, you can open up the scroll as I see it there, yeah.
V'hila mekaper et hakodesh ve'et ohel moed ve'et hamizbeah ve'hikriv et hasa'ir hehai ve'sama Aharon et shetei yadav al rosh hasa'ir hahai ve'hitvada Allah et kol avonot b'nei Yisrael ve'et kol pishehem lehol hatotam ve'natam otam al rosh hasa'ir v'shila v'yad ish iti hamidbara ve'nasa hasa'ir Allah et kol avonotam el eretz ksera v'shila et hasa'ir ba'midbar.
Beautiful chanting, so nice. And now your family by Zoom is going to join us for the blessing after that section of Torah.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. You sound so good and you look so great in our sanctuary with us. Thank you for that blessing. And now, Sophie, please introduce the second aliyah.
For my second aliyah, I call upon my grandma Lila and Stampa and Jojo, and my parents Susan and Blake.
So your grandmothers will come to the podium. Stampa will be on the Zoom with us. Just make sure that he's on our screens. There he is. Okay, you can go ahead with the first blessing.
Adonai Bamarach, Baruch Adonai Hamparach Leolam Vaed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'tonim v'chanatan lanu ha'tabrato Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
את בגדי הבד, אשר לבש בבוא אל הקודש, והניחם שם. ורחץ את בשרון והמים ומקום קדוש, ולבש את בגדיו ויצא, ועשה את עולתו ואת עולת העם, וכיפר בעדו ובעד העם. והלב חטא יקטיר המטבע, והמשלח את השעיר לעזאזל, יכבס בגדיו ורחץ את בשרון והמים, ואחריהן יבוא אל המחנה.
Terrific chanting. I'll invite your parents to come to the side where the blessing is so they can do the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Now the cantor is going to want to share some words with you, Sophie, before you get to chant the blessing yourself.
Yes, Sophie, I have the distinct pleasure of getting to call you up to the Torah by your Hebrew name now. This is the greatest honor we can ever give in our community, and this is the first time in your life that you'll receive this honor of being called up by your Hebrew name. It just fills me with pride and joy to offer this to you because you are so deserving. You are so smart and thoughtful and kind and full of brightness and life, and it is an absolute joy to watch you take your place in our community. So it's in that spirit of pride and appreciation for the beautiful person that you are and all that you bring that I call you to the Torah by your Hebrew name now. Tamod, 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 haba mitzvah, Yael bat Sarah ve'baruch.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ve'et har ha'hatat, ve'et se'ir ha'hatat, asher huva et damam lechaper ba'kodesh, yotzi el mihutz lamahane, ve'sarfu va'esh et orotam, ve'et besaram, ve'et pirsham, ve'hasoref otam, Yehabes begadav, v'rahatz et bisaron v'amayim, ve'aharehein yavo el hamahane, v'haita lahem lehukat olam, b'chodesh hashvi'i, ve'asor lahodesh, te'anu et nafshotehem, v'hol melaha Lo ta'asu ha'ezra v'hager hagar b'tohahem, ki vayom hazeh yechaper alehem letaher ethem, mikol hatotehem lifnei Adonai titaru. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. That's right, a deep breath after a brilliant, beautiful chanting of your Torah portion. So well done, Sophie. We'll invite your parents to be seated so they can sit in the congregation, just take in the wonder of you continuing to lead us. We're going to invite you to you can stay right there in that position in front of the microphone as you introduce your Haftarah portion, chant the blessings, and then chant the portion.
The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Ezekiel. I will be reading from chapter 22, verses 14 through 19. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nve'im tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hane'emarin be'emet Baruch atah Adonai Chaboher Batorah Uv'Moshe Avdo Uv'Yisrael Amo Unvinve'ei Ha'emet V'Tzedek.
Amen.
Haya amod libei im tehezakna yadaich layami asher ani ose ota ani Adonai dibarti ve'asiti v'hatvitzoti ota bagoyim ve'zeritich ba'aratzot v'hatimoti tumate mimei v'nichalt bach le'enei goyim v'yadat ki ani Adonai v'yahi Dvar Adonai elai lemor Ben Adam hayuli veit Yisrael lesig kulam nehoshet uvdil uvarzel ve'oferet al tokor segim kesef hayu lachen Ko amor Adonai Elohim Yan Heyot Kulchem Lesigim Lachen Hineni Kofetz Etchem Alto Yerushalayim Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik behol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'mdaber u'mkayim shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnua lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim la umvarchim ota yisbarashim habefi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo
Kaddish HaShabbat.
Amen. Sophie, there's something extra satisfying when we reach that Haftarah section and the cantor and the rabbi just sit down and you, as we've talked about, take over the leadership of that section, which you did so beautifully, as well as chanting the Torah. And we're so looking forward now to hearing your Dvar Torah as we have a chance to have you explain a little bit about a lesson from this week's Torah portion.
Today's Torah portion from Leviticus, the third book in the Torah, takes place right after the death of Aaron's sons. God spoke to Moses and explained how the ancient Israelites should celebrate the holiday of Yom Kippur. God commanded Moses to tell Aaron, who was the high Kohanim, or priest, to make sacrifices to atone for the sins committed by Aaron and the Israelites. In our modern world on Yom Kippur, instead of animal sacrifices, we ask for forgiveness through spiritual rituals, such as attending services and fasting. God also hands down to Moses the new laws for the Israelites. These laws consisted of rules based on avoiding the mistakes of the people who had inhabited the land before them. An example of these laws was to prohibit having any sexual relationships with family members. I know, quite the example, but believe me, this was the most PG example from my Torah portion. God also made it clear that if the Israelites didn't follow these laws, there would be severe punishments for putting their community at risk. In the Torah, God gave the Israelites a very specific set of rules to live by, for which they were rewarded or punished based on their behavior. This reminded me of life during COVID. Throughout this pandemic, we have been given a specific set of rules, such as wearing masks and staying socially distanced from each other. Although these rules have kept people safe, I've realized that there are also drawbacks, such as school attendance restrictions and not being able to see friends regularly. While those examples are negative, having everyone get COVID would be worse. Thus, when people don't follow these rules because of politics, personal beliefs, or other reasons, they put others at risk and endanger our community. Just like in the Torah, there are consequences for our behavior. The commandments that the Israelites observe are a moral code, and they either result in blessings if they follow them or punishment if they do not obey. During COVID, the more effective we are at following rules, the safer and healthier we will be, not only as individuals, but also as a community. Safety and healthy are a blessing during a pandemic. If we do not follow these rules, we put ourselves and other people at risk of getting sick, which is clearly a punishment. When people follow these rules, we not only protect ourselves and our community, but we feel a sense of moral fulfillment and pride. Although it was hard not seeing our friends, family, and doing normal daily activities during lockdown, we helped so many people and knew that we did the right thing. Being a responsible citizen of one's community means that a person is obliged to think about more than just their own needs. In my daily life, I try to live by a moral code that I want to make the world better. I have tried to live this way my whole life, and I truly love making others happy. I feel fulfilled when I bring joy to someone and hoped that by making others happy, there's a domino effect. I remember reading a story from a year ago about a Dairy Queen in Minnesota, where one car went through the drive-thru and paid for their meal, and also the meal of the person in the car behind them. This act continued from one car to another for over 2.5 days and involved over 900 people. Not only did the people whose food was paid for feel inspired, but the employees who witnessed these kind deeds were also moved. It is amazing how inspiring such a small and random act of kindness can be. In my daily life, I try to be kind and help others who don't have the same opportunities I have. Every Christmas and Thanksgiving, I volunteer with my family at Goddard Riverside Community Center to feed the homeless and homebound. My sister Annabelle and I start off bagging desserts and breads, and when we finish that, we make cards to put in the bags, which hopefully bring a smile and a personal touch. When we are done with bagging the meals, we usually get to deliver some of those meals and meet the recipients. This not only makes someone else's day better, but also makes my day better. Another way that I get us a sense of fulfillment is through reading. I've gone through many phases of reading, with my most recent being an interest in Agatha Christie murder mysteries. In my realistic fiction phase, one book that stood out was Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Wonder is about Augie, a boy who enters 5th grade with facial differences, and he gets teased a lot. Even though he is teased for being different, he also makes some good friends who didn't care that he looked different than what other kids thought was normal. The author, R.J. Palacio, says, "It's not enough to be kind. One should be kinder than needed." This quote has stuck with me ever since, and is one of the reasons why I have decided to work with Goddard's early learning program for my mitzvah project. I will help to build their library by donating new books and doing read-alouds with kids once it is safe to do so. I will strive to spread kindness and always do nice things for other people. In doing so, I hope to live by that R.J. Palacio quote and inspire others to keep passing it on, just like the 900 customers did at that Dairy Queen in Minnesota. In this moment, I would like to say thank you to the people in my life who have helped me prepare for this meaningful day. First, I would like to say thank you to my Hebrew teachers, Jenna and Miriam, and Cantor Drain and Rabbi Mo, for their teaching and guidance for my bar mitzvah. I'd also like to express my gratitude to Karen Eckstein and Rabbi Rosenthal, my Hebrew school teachers, as well as to the Saturday morning LCLJ community, specifically Julia, Marissa, and Cantor Ellen. I also want to express my appreciation for my amazing Dalton teachers who have encouraged and supported my love of reading and learning since I started there in kindergarten. Today, though I wish we could all be together in person, I am so grateful to all my friends and family who tuned in virtually from near and as far away as Europe and Asia. Next, to my family, my grandparents, Jojo, Lila, and Stampa, and to my aunts, uncles, and cousins, I love you so much. Annabelle, I love you and all of the adventures we have together. Finally, my parents, who support me day in and day out and shower me with unconditional love. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sophie. We're all just, I don't know if you know the Yiddish word, a kvelling. It's this, it's a pretty apt word for all of us who know you and love you and who've been lucky to be with you at different stages of your life. For me here at the synagogue for so many years in LCLJ, where you and your fellow students with their parents would pray together and teach us, and then this morning where you just became one of our service leaders with such grace and such intellect and such heart. And I just am taking in your message to be kind to my deepest part of me, because I think that is one of the key teachings of our tradition. The Talmud says the greatest wisdom is kindness. And you helped us remember that this morning. So thank you for that message. Thank you for you and your spirit. We're going to invite your parents and your sister back up to the podium. I know everyone here and everyone who's joining us online is going to want to join us in a chorus of Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. I invite everyone else to rise who's here, and we're going to sing in celebration of this special Shabbat, this special bat mitzvah.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael.
To remain standing. Sophie, I'm going to call you to the ark with me. Your family can return to their seats. I'm going to spend a few private moments with you in front of the ark.
Here with you beside me, I feel so greatly blessed. This moment means much more than I can say. A time to be together, a time for us to rest. Shabbat is here, the time has come to celebrate the day. So I hold you close, my hands upon your head. And from me to you, my child, these words are said. Yesimcha Elohim, Ke'Ephraim v'chi Menashe. May God give you life and and strength like Joseph's sons. Yisibech Elohim, Kesara Rivka, Rachel v'Leah. May God make you like our mothers, like our blessed ones. May God make you like our parents, like our blessed ones.
We're about to recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. And as we do, invite your family to think of those loved ones whose presence is felt here today, although they're not physically with us. And we name these loved ones who, from our synagogue community, have died in the past month. Stanford Abram, Lawrence Aubrey Brenzel, Norma Friedman, Dan Goldman, Alyssa Epstein, Alice Kern, Miriam Kleinfeld, Alan Michael Levy, Dorothy Norris, Adam Tedesco, and Larry Weisberg. We rise, if able, and turn to page 294 to recite these sacred words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, b'yalma divrachu te v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chayedach al beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'izman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei d'kudsha b'richu, le'ala min kol birchata v'shirata, chush b'chata v'nechamata, damiram v'yama v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen.
Sophie, we want to invite you and your family back up to the Bima once more as we close out in song. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I will open my eyes, I will open my eyes, I will not look away, I will not look away. I will use this gift I've been given every day. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful, my voice can change the world.
Sophie, we heard your voice today, and it is powerful, and yes, it will change the world. And we appreciate that inspiration from you. We appreciate the chance to celebrate Shabbat together. We wish everyone a very good Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. We begin with these words on your order of service. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah. Let us sing together. Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah.
Hallelujah indeed. It is the most spectacular spring morning here in New York City, and we are so glad to be together for Shabbat. I am Rabbi Maurice Salth, joined by my friend and colleague, Cantor Julia Cadrain. Cantor Cadrain, this is your penultimate Saturday morning Shabbat, leading services here.
I know,
because,
can't believe it.
It's bittersweet that you'll become the senior cantor of Temple Israel and Westport. How are you feeling about this Shabbat morning? Because it feels like a regular Shabbat morning, but for me it's a little extra special that we get to hear you sing this morning.
I'm feeling so grateful. Just want to soak it all in.
Well, we feel the same. And there is another co-leader of this service who we are so honored to be leading with. Noah's in the congregation with his family. Can you give a wave to us, everyone who's here? And that song, Hava Nashira, Noah, may sound familiar because I'm pretty sure that when you were in nursery school here, you and I and your classmates sat right here on the bima in a circle and sang songs like that. And we brought you up to the podium and we had you stand on a stand and just take a peek into the Torah. And we said, one day, Noah, you will read and lead this community in Shabbat morning services. And Noah, today is that day. And we are just taking that all in and how just amazing it's been to see you grow into a beautiful young man and to be a beautiful part of this important community. And it's just a special morning here at Central Synagogue to have you here with your family. We know so many of your friends and family are joining us from around the world to celebrate Shabbat and also to celebrate you becoming bar mitzvah and how good it is to be together. So we'll continue with prayers led by Cantor Cadrain. I invite you to, if you want to look at the prayer book or the order of service, you can do so. You can find it at centralsynagogue.org on our live streaming page. And just invite you to just be present and be with us for this beautiful Shabbat morning service.
We rise together now in body or spirit, and we turn to page 108. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Please be seated again. We continue on page 114. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לעולכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Page 122, our Song of Freedom. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norat tehilot oseh tephila, norat tehilot oseh tephila. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Page 124. We rise in body or in spirit. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi hagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
We'll continue with these tephila prayers in our prayer book through page 142, and this is also the part of the section of our service where we can share the prayers that are found within our individual hearts and minds, and we'll do so silently.
Yehiu leratzon im refi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai
We have arrived at Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah, and Noah is going to introduce this section now.
The light of Torah shines forth from Zion. Adonai's teachings flow from Jerusalem. This scroll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
So now I'm going to ask you just to take a step to your left. So your parents can be in front of the microphone. I'm going to ask you to turn towards your parents who are going to share some words with you on this special morning.
Alors, tout d'abord, je voulais te féliciter de la part de papy et mamie et de toute la famille en France qui te regarde maintenant et qui aimerait tant être là aujourd'hui. Noah, I am so proud of you standing here today next to you on this bima as you become a bar mitzvah. You are our miracle. It is a privilege and joy to watch you becoming a young man, and I can't believe how fast it is happening. I am incredibly thankful to witness it all and to be on this journey with you. I am especially proud to the many qualities you possess. You are kind, caring, honest, smart, curious, talented, and you have a great sense of humor. You are always ready to help others and stand up against injustice. It has been my pride and joy to see you volunteer for different organizations, whether it is making sandwiches for the breakfast program here at Central, or setting dinner tables at Epiphany Church homeless dinner program, packing food for City Harvest, or volunteering on the school anti-bullying program, among many other things. Your enthusiasm for helping is inspiring. It has been a journey getting you ready for today. You have received the best of support, from the educators at the nursery school and the LCLJ to the clergy here at Central. Everyone has played a critical role in nurturing who you are today. I am tremendously grateful to them, as I know you are. My wish to you today is that you continue learning and applying the teachings of the Torah throughout your life. I wish you only success and happiness. I am so proud of you. I love you more than words can say. Mazel tov.
Noah, what can we say? You have grown up right before our eyes in what seems like a flash. I know everyone says this, but we are so sincerely proud of you and all of your accomplishments. You started playing the piano at 5 and enjoyed exploring the notes and figuring out songs almost like a puzzle. As you've gotten older, you have grown to appreciate your hard work and to generously share it with others. When you started learning Mandarin at 8 years old, we were worried that when it came time to learn to read Hebrew for your bar mitzvah, it would be more confusing and more of a challenge. It was the opposite. And now, with your interest in technology, learning multiple coding languages for your new computer seems to be coming pretty easily. Noah, you can accomplish anything you put your mind to and commit yourself to. If you have faith in yourself, persevere, and stay true to your Dvar Torah, then anything and everything is possible for you. This tallis was given to me by my grandfather for my bar mitzvah. He bought it on his first trip to Israel, which was a dream of his after surviving the atrocities of the Holocaust in Europe, losing his family, starting a new life in a new world. He would be so proud of you today, continuing the traditions of our people for another generation. Even though we cannot celebrate the way we'd like to, we are grateful to be able to come before the Torah together as a family for this very important mitzvah. Mazel tov.
Thank you for those beautiful and moving words. Noah, I'll invite you to introduce the section of the Torah you're reading from this Shabbat.
My Torah portion is taken from Parashat Akremot Kedoshim from the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verses 13 to 25. For my first aliyah, I call upon my grandparents, Ellen and Larry, and my cousins, the Reuben family.
So invite your grandparents up to the podium. The Rubens we know are joining us on Zoom. And you can open up the Torah for him, and you can stand right in the middle, Noah, and your grandparents will stand to your right and recite the blessing before this first section. Yep, you can go. Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha barnu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Lo ta'ashok et racha velo tigzol. Lo talin polat sachir itacha ad boker. Lo takalel heresh velifne iver. Lo titain michshol ve'areta me'elchecha ani Adonai. Lo ta'asu avel b'mishpat. Lo tisa pene dal ve'lo tedar pene gadol. B'tzedek tishpot amitecha. Lo telech rahil be'amecha. Lo ta'amod al damrecha ani Adonai.
And now your family will be joining us by Zoom.
Oh,
there they are. The blessing afterwards. You can go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And now, Noah, you can call your second aliyah.
For my second aliyah, I call upon my parents, Nadej and Adam.
Oops, just take your time when you're exiting off the beam. There's no rush. Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher barach banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha, chocheach tocheach et amitecha, velo tisa alav chet. Lo tikom velo titor et bnei amecha, ve'ahavtal reacha kamocha ani Adonai. Et chukotai tishmeru behemtecha lo tarbiyah kilaim, sadecha lo tisra kilaim, uvegad kilaim shatnez lo yale avecha.
Beautifully done. And your parents will do the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
So Noah, before you chant the blessing, which I know that you're ready to do, I get to speak to you for a moment. First of all, to recognize what an amazing job you're doing. It is not a small thing to stand up in front of the Torah and chant so beautifully without a rabbi or a cantor right next to you. And the truth is, you don't need us. You are so strong and excellent all on your own. And it's a pleasure to offer you now the greatest honor we can give. This is the first time in your life that you'll receive this honor, and that is to be called up to the Torah by your Hebrew name. And we do this in the spirit of appreciation for all that you bring, your thoughtfulness, your wisdom, your humor, and your kindness. Yamod, Yamod, Habar Mitzvah, Binyamin ben Avraham Shalom, Venayomi la'aliyah leTorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. ואיש כישכב את אישה שכבת זרע, ואיש יבחת נהרפת לאיש, ועובדי לא נפדתה, או חופשה לא ניתן לה, ביקורת תחיה לא ימטוב כי לא הוא פשע. והביא את השמו לאדוני אל פתח אוהל מועד, אל אשם. ויפר עליו הכהן באל האשם לפני אדוני, על חטאתו אשר חטא, מסלח לו מחטאתו אשר חטא. והיא תבואו אל הארץ, ונתתם כל חטא mahal, ועלתם ערלתו את פריו, 3 שנים יחיה לכם, ערלים לא יאכל. ובשנה הרביעית יחיה כל פריו, קודש הילולים לאדוני. ובשנה החמישית תבלו את פריו, להוסיף לכם תבואתו, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And now the blessing after your beautiful job chanting.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. So no, I don't know if you feel this, but I have a feeling right now that as you started to chant Torah and your parents shared with you and your grandparents and your family, your blessings, I felt like the service began to just kind of slow down. It's like you're in the right place, we're in the right place. It's just trying to take it all in at this moment in time, which somehow just kind of like it's like I'm feeling that. I hope you're feeling it too. Like you've worked so hard. You know your Torah and your Haftarah and your Dvar Torah so well, and now we just get to be here on Shabbat and enjoy it all. So just wanted to say I'm feeling it. I hope you are too. So invite your parents to be seated, and you can stand just to the right of the Torah and introduce the Haftarah portion for today.
The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Amos. I will be reading from chapter 9, verses 7 to 10. Start reading Haftarah. Hello, hivnei hushim atem li bnei Israel neum Adonai. Hello, Israel, ha'eleti me'eretz Mitzrayim, uflishtim mikaftor v'aram mikir. Hinei, einei, Adonai Elohim, b'mamlacha ha'hata'ah, v'hishmarti ota me'al b'nei ha'adamah, efes ki lo hashmeid ashmid, et Beit Yaakov ne'um Adonai. Ki hinei anochi mitzaveh v'hanioti v'chol hagaim et Beit Yisrael ka'asher yinoa v'akvara v'lo yipol tzeror aretz. Baharev yamutu kol hata'e ami ha'omrim lo tagish v'takadim ba'adeinu hara.
Terrific job, Noah. It's such a joy to hear you chant these words from our tradition. And I love studying this Torah portion with you, Noah. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And we did it over Zoom. And you always had behind you, when we were studying, the cosmos. Is there a specific part of the universe that's on your background screen? Or is it, you know what I'm talking about? That your background screen has like the picture of the universe behind it? There's something very, very enjoyable about studying Torah with the cosmos and you. And this morning, we get to hear your thoughts on this very special Torah portion. So please continue with your Dvar Torah.
The Torah portions I am studying for this week are Akremot and Kedoshim. Parashat Kedoshim discusses what it means to be holy. God commands the Jewish people, "You shall be holy, for I, the eternal your God, am holy." Then, God proceeds to list many commandments for the Israelites and also all of us to follow. Some of these commandments are to not insult the deaf or place a stumbling block before the blind, to not take vengeance, and to love your fellow as yourself. When I read these words, I wondered, what does it mean to be holy? And does being holy essentially mean being better than everybody else? I read a lot of commentaries on this section of the Torah. Rabbi Hillel was focused on the commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. Hillel was a leading rabbi of his time. Once, a non-Jew challenged him with the promise, "I will convert to Judaism if you can teach me the whole of Judaism while standing on one foot." Hillel's response was immediate. "What is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow citizen." That is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. The questioner was so moved by Hillel's answer that he enrolled to study Judaism with him immediately. It seems to me that Hillel is saying that this is what it means to be holy, to treat others with respect and even love, and at a minimum, do not hate. When I read this portion in the commentary, it seems to me that the message to be holy means to be nice, and hopefully everybody else will be nice too. It's a bit of a loophole or a paradox of sorts, but also secret to creating a very healthy society. We are living during the time of many protests. I think people who are protesting non-violently are having the greatest positive impact, and those that are protesting violently are bringing their cause down. For example, the people pretending to be part of the Black Lives Matter movement, who rioted and vandalized cities, including ours, New York, caused tremendous distress and wound up hurting the movements that they said they were supporting. Imagine if they had followed Hillel's teaching, "What is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow citizen." Martin Luther King, John Lewis, they stood for nonviolent protest, even when people treated them and those around them in the worst of ways. The sit-ins, the peaceful protests, political movements, no matter what they did it all peacefully, and they did not hurt a single person. This goes back to one of the commandments God gives us, to love your fellow as yourself. Today, I become a bar mitzvah. I want to be a person who prioritizes being nice and helping others. I want to be the person who helps my friends, even when I could easily say to them, "Sorry, I have to worry about myself." I want to treat both my family and friends with this type of care. All the rest is commentary.
Wow. You know, I don't always get a chance to go to the congregation to sit and be just in the presence of our bar mitzvah, but I can do it during this time, and it's the best, Noah, to see you teach Torah. And I don't know if I told you this, but this section of the Torah is considered the heart of the Torah, like not only the very middle of the actual Torah scroll, but also the essence of what this Torah is all about. And your story, of course, Rabbi Hillel and the questioner has that same point, that this is the core of the Torah. And you are the embodiment of this teaching. You teach, when you're teaching us, some students I have to encourage them to bring out their passion, but you, it just naturally flows from you as you teach us from the heart of this Torah, what this tradition's all about, what being a human is all about, what being a fellow citizen's about, and how we have to do what you said. It doesn't always come naturally to be there for our fellow person, but we need to be there. And how awesome it is that you have already taken that charge and brought it into your regular actions. And it's just a true joy to see you lead us and have you be a young man, a bar mitzvah today. I want to invite your parents back up to the podium. I want to invite those here with us and those I know joining us from near and far to stand and join us in song as we celebrate this very, very special day. We sing Siman Tov and Mazel Tov.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael.
All right. Well, I'm going to now invite you, Noah, to join me in front of the ark for a private moment, and we ask everyone in the congregation to remain standing.
here with you beside me. I feel so greatly blessed. This moment means much more than I can say. A time to be together, a time for us to rest. Shabbat is here, the time has come to celebrate the day. So I hold you close, my hands upon your head. And from me to you, my child, these words are said. Yesimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim V'Chim. May God give you life and strength like Joseph's sons. Yesibech Elohim Ke'Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God make you like our mothers, like our blessed ones. May God make you like our parents, like our blessed ones.
We're about to recite the sacred words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. And as we do, we call to mind loved ones, Noah, from your family that we wish could be here today that are no longer with us. We name a few of them right now: Rosalind Lipkin and Rhoda Cohen. And we also name loved ones from this community who have died in the past 30 days: Stanford Abram, Lawrence Aubrey Brenzel, Norma Friedman, Dan Goldman, Alyssa Epstein, Ellis Kern, Miriam Kleinfeld, Alan Michael Levy, Dorothy Norris, Adam Tedesco, and Larry Weisberg. And in our order of service are listed loved ones whose yard sites occur this week. If you are saying Kaddish for one of those listed or another dear one of yours, I'll invite you to say their name out loud at this time. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. Yit Gadal v'Yikadash Shemei Rabbah B'yamad Yivrach Yeruteh v'Yamlich Malchuteh B'chayachon v'Yomechon uv'chayidachol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala uzman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavarach Le'olam Umei Almaya Yit Barach v'Yishtabach v'Yit Pa'ar v'Yit Roman v'Yit Naseh v'Yit Hadar v'Yit Talev v'Yit Talal Shemei Kudsha Brichu Le'elah min kol brachata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiram yomah v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Osei shalom b'romav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen.
Noah, we'd like to invite you and your family back up to the bima, and we want to close out this beautiful morning with a song for peace. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Noah, we heard you to be respectful, to be kind, even loving to our fellow neighbor, stranger, and of course, family and friend. We're going to take that to heart with us as we enter our world after we exit the synagogue. So thank you for that inspiration. And Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
rising of the sun we remember. In the blowing of the wind we remember. In the opening of buds we remember. We remember. In the blueness of the sky we remember. In the rustling of the leaves we remember. As the year starts and it ends, we remember. We remember. When we're weary and need strength, we remember. When we're lost and sick at heart, we remember. When we've joys we yearn to share, we remember. We remember. So long as we live, they too shall live. They are now a part of us. They are now a part of us. As we remember, we remember. We remember. We remember.
Shabbat Shalom. We begin with these words, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah. Let us sing together. Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Hava, Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So nice to be here in the sanctuary. This is my first Shabbat in the sanctuary with other congregants who are celebrating Shabbat together, and it's particularly special that Ali, we're here with you and your family, because you and your family have endured. You've been resilient, you've been patient, waiting for this day when you can read from the Torah, and I'm so glad that you all were so, because we get to celebrate the Shabbat with you. Can we give a wave here to you, everyone from Ali's family, that for those friends and family that are watching online, and soon you'll have Ali up at the podium with us to lead our service. Not yet, but soon. I'm Rabbi Mo Salf, and I am here this morning with my friend and colleague, Cantor Julia Cadrain. We're still partially separated, some up in the sanctuary, some down below in our pavilion, just for extra safety as the pandemic slowly gets better, and it's allowed us to be in the space together. Cantor Cadrain, we bought you some lilac. Some of them are blooming to represent the blooms that you bring to the synagogue in these last weeks that you serve as our cantor. Some of them have yet to bloom to represent the light and song that you'll be bringing to your new congregation in a couple of months. But we recognize that this is your second to last Shabbat morning at the synagogue, formally leading us, and we're taking in every minute of it, Cantor, because we love you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. What beautiful flowers. And I'm just full of love for you, Rabbi, and for this whole community. So thank you.
So how nice it is that we get to lead this service with you, Ali, and to celebrate Shabbat together. It's a gorgeous day. If we're going to wait for your bar mitzvah day, it better be a gorgeous day, and it is, which is extra nice for all of us. So we're going to pray together. We're going to sing together. We invite you to just be present and enjoy it all. If you want to follow a prayer book, you can find it at the Central Synagogue.org website on our live streaming page. Everyone here has a prayer book for us to sing and pray along with. And we're going to now turn to page 108, and the cantor will lead us in Baruch Hu. Please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Please be seated. We continue on page 114. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. וכבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לעולכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue with our Song of Freedom, page 122. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefela, nora tehilot osefela. Page 124, we rise in body or in spirit. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
We continue with this tephila prayer, as it is often traditionally done silently through page 142. Also, if we'd like, adding the private prayers that are within our hearts and minds. Imrefi, vehegyon libi
לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי
We've invited your whole family up to the podium. You can take off your mask if you haven't done so. Jackson is next to you, Blake, and of course you, Ali. I'd like you to introduce this section of the service we're in, the section where we'll be soon reading from the Torah. You can read that first page.
The light of the Torah shines forth from Zion. Adonai's teachings flow from Jerusalem. The scroll has nurtured our people from Sinai to today. It teaches us love and justice, hope and peace.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
We're now going to invite your sister and brother to say a few words to you on this special day. There's a little stand underneath the, that maybe you can pull out for your sister. Yeah, you can have her stand right there. Come stand in the middle, please. Well, Jackson can start.
Oliver, I love you and I'm so proud of you on this special day.
Thank you, Jackson. And your sister, you can just speak right into the microphone because it's a little easier for us to hear. Thank you. You can go.
Dear Oliver, I love you. Are you the best? Have a great bar mitzvah. Love you. Favorite Sister Blake.
No doubt about that. So I'll give your brother a hug, give your sister a hug, and I'll have them return back to their seats. So nice. Thank you, Blake, and thank you, Jackson. No offense, Jackson, but Blake looks particularly great today. All right, and now we're going to invite your mom and your dad to say some words with you. When they talk to you, just look right at them so you can take it all in. Who's going to go first? All right. You can just pull up the mic a little bit. Just, yeah, not all the way. Yeah, that's good.
Ali, Oliver, Aliber, Jaliber, Mois, and of course my one and only Ali Pop. As your mom, I promise you that I will always be in one of three places for you. In front of you to cheer you on, behind you to have your back, or next to you so that you're never alone. I love you with all my heart, and you give your friends and family and everyone who knows you so much nachas. Do not forget your parents when you win your first Oscar, and I love you, Oliver Nathaniel Stern.
Nice. Don't forget your rabbi either, by the way, on that occasion.
Oliver, this is a Kaddish cup that my grandpa Sidney gave this to your mother and I on our wedding day. And I want you to take a sip out of it. We're starting a new tradition. And then I want you to take this cup and give it to your child on their bar mitzvah day. And make sure they pass it down. L'dor v'dor. Love you. I'm so proud of you.
So nice. Thank you so much. And just taking that all in. All right, Ali, can you introduce your first aliyah, please? The rest of the congregation can be seated, by the way. Thank you.
My Torah portion is taken from Parshat b'ha'alutaha, from the book of Numbers, chapter 11, verses 1 to 11. For my first aliyah, I call upon Mima and Nanadol, and also Uncle Ricky for the after blessing.
All right, your grandmother's going to be right on the floor next to you. Uncle Ricky is going to join us by Zoom, I believe. Oh, they're here. Fantastic. Sorry. So, and your grandmothers are going to do the blessing before this first section of Torah. You can open up the Torah that's in front of you, Ali, while they're getting situated. When they're ready, you can go ahead and start.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'char b'nu mikal amin. Natu lanu et Torata, Baruch atah Adonai, notin ha-Torah.
Amen. Ali, you can chant your first section of your portion.
Amen. Vayehi ha'am k'mitonenim ra bet oznei Adonai. Vayishma Adonai, Vayichar apo, V'tivar bam eish Adonai, Vatishkal biksei hamachaneh. Vayitzak ha'am el Moshe, Vayitpalel Moshe el Adonai, Vatishka ha'eish. Vayikra Shem hamakom haku Tavera. Kivaravam eish Adonai.
So beautiful, so nicely done. And your Uncle Ricky is going to chant the blessing after.
Asher natan lanu Torat imet, v'shayei olam nata b'tachenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha-Torah.
Amen. Thank you so much, and Mazel Tov. Now I ask you to announce the second aliyah.
For my second aliyah, I call upon Aunt Piggy, Uncle Adam, Aunt Laura, the other Uncle Adam, Aunt Tony, and Uncle Andrew.
All right, come on up. If you're the lucky person to be an uncle or aunt of this remarkable bar mitzvah, you'll be chanting the blessings before and after. And your parents can stay up with you, Ali. So come on up, Les. You're lucky to have lots of wonderful aunts and uncles. So I'm going to invite you to come. You can come up and kind of make some space for them behind Ali. And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to start the blessing. 1, 2, 3.
This?
Yep, Baruch.
No.
It starts here.
Yep.
Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha-Torah.
Amen.
Amen. V'hasasuf asher bikrubo hitavu ta'ava vayashuvu vayivku gam b'nei Yisrael vayomeru mi ya'akilenu basar zacharnu et hadaga asher nochal b'mitzrayim chinam et hakishuim ve'et Hapachim, ve'et hechatzir, ve'et hebetzalim, ve'et hashumim, ve'ata nafshenu yevesha, ein kol BLT el haman einenu.
Such beautiful chanting. Thank you, Ali. Now have your aunts and uncles do the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torat emet,
v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
We done?
Mazel tov to all of you, you lucky people to have this amazing man and your young man in your family. And once you get a squeeze from him or an elbow bump, whatever your decision, then you can return to your seats. And the cantor, Ali, in a moment, is going to speak to you.
Oliver, you're doing such a beautiful job. I'm down here with the musicians, and everyone is so impressed and applauding you. I can't wait to talk to you about becoming a cantor one day, or a rabbi. Rabbi Mo and I can fight over.
It's going to be a battle.
Fight over that. It'll be an epic
But after
battle.
Shabbat.
After Shabbat, exactly. It's been such a pleasure to watch you rise to the challenge of becoming bar mitzvah and watch you take your place in our community with such grace and poise and talent and wisdom beyond your years. And it is such a pleasure to call you up to the Torah now by your Hebrew name. Our Hebrew names are special in many ways, but one of the things that sets them apart is they contain our parents' names. And so that means that it roots you to your past and to your roots, and that you will carry this name forward into the future with the same life and joy and sparkle that we know that you bring to everything you do. Yamod Yamod Habar Mitzvah Natanel Ben Reuven Leib Ve'aliva La'aliyah LaTorah.
You bless the Torah now with the blessing on the right side of the podium.
Baruch le'olam va'ed.
I'm going to have you start at the very top of that page, the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ve'haman kizragad hu ve'eno ketam habdolach shatu ha'am vilatu v'ticheno v'ayrechaim o dachu bamdocha uvishlu baparur ve'osu oto ugot v'hayatamo ketam lashad hashamen Uvredet hatal al hamachaneh Laila yered haman alai Vayishma Moshe el ha'am Bochel mishpechotav ish lafetach aholo Vayicharav Adonai ma'od ve'ono Moshe ra Vayomer Moshe el Adonai Lama hareota le'avdecha ve'lama kol matzati chen be'einecha lasum et masa kol ha'am hazeh alai.
So nice. And now the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nota betuheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So now I'll invite you just to stick to the right. You can step right in front of the microphone and introduce your Haftarah portion and begin with the blessing before and then chant the Haftarah.
The Haftarah for this week is taken from the book of Zechariah. I'll be reading from chapter 4, verses 4 to 7. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar binvinim tovim ve'yatsa v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habochar b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'vinvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayan vayomar el hamalach hadover bi lemor ma'ele Adoni. Vayan hamalach hadover bi vayomer elai halo yadata mahema ele vayomar lo Adoni. Vayan vayomer elai lemor ze derubadonai el Zerubbabel lemor lo b'chayil velo b'choach ki imbruchi amar Adonai Tsebaot me'ata har hagadol Lifnei Zerubbabel lemishor ve'atza et ha'eben harosha teshuot chen la.
Terrific, Ali. Thank you. So nice to just be able to sit and hear you chant so beautifully. And we've done a lot of studying. We've been studying this portion for over a year. And lots of different thoughts and teachings have come from it. And you've prepared a Dvar Torah for us to learn from, and I invite you to teach us now.
So in the Torah portion I just read, the Israelites are wandering in the wilderness. Until recently, they've been slaves in Egypt, and they're in the process of learning to be in their own society. They basically were in prison for many years and didn't know how to act once they were free, because they thought that they would have access to food when they were free, as so they thought. In these early days of freedom, the Israelites are quite selfish and immature. God provides them with something called manna to eat. The Torah portion says that manna was seed-like and it would fall from the sky each day for the people to eat. Even though the people had food and food to go around each and every day, they wanted more, and they complained to God about the manna. They wanted more variety, fruits, meat, and vegetables, and whined about this to Moses and God. The Israelites thought that when they were free from being kept by Pharaoh, that they would be able to eat and do whatever they want, but they didn't realize that they weren't in some industrial town with food on every street. And they were in the middle of nowhere, and there was barely any food to go around. They thought that maybe they could beg God. After all, he was the one who led the Israelites to where they are today. They even recall the fish and cucumber, melons and leeks that they used to eat when they were in Egypt. Moses and God are very troubled and upset by their lack of gratitude. Still, God provides them with a mini miracle, and the wind comes in. On it, thousands of quail, which the Israelites ate with joy. I find it interesting, while God and Moses are frustrated with the Israelites' behavior, they still find a way to respond with a new menu item, quail, for them to eat. The Israelites complain and whine, and yet God and Moses still want to make them happy. It seems that God and Moses are learning as they go along how to be influential and the leader of the people. That maybe after all this time, the Israelites needed God and Moses to help them get to safety and be free, which they did, though they relied on them too much. And that shows that you can't rely on things that you want to rely on that much, because those things can become chain reactions of you being too confident of someone else to do something for you, to do something that you can't. I mean, sure, the Israelites were very selfish, but it shows how even though God and Moses got tortured and abused by these starving people, they still gave them a whole feast's worth of food. Because no matter what, they knew that deep down inside, it was for the greater good. No matter what, even if you stand by the idea of treating others the way you want to be treated, still, you must always do the right thing. These two are leaders and show influential messages of the person you should become and always be. Thinking about it every day, this story reminds me of my parents. Even if they get treated poorly on a day where one of my siblings are in a mood and they get shrunken down to the last nerve which is still visible, in return, they still tend to love us. Everyone in this temple today, we can all agree that we stand by the fact of treating others the way you want to be treated. Even if we mess up or do something hurtful or bad, we may not always get in return kindness and care. Because if we rely on too much, relying on getting positive energy back to us, and not having poor things, even though we did something pretty bad in the first place, we have nowhere left to go but to rely on ourselves to be a better person. Moses and God gave positive energy and respect back to the people who did terrible things to them because they knew they should have, and it was what they had to do. Same with my parents, them returning back respect and kindness to us, even on days where me and my siblings are pretty bad, shows that they do it for the greater good. And they truly love us. Does this mean that Moses and God unconditionally loved the Israelites? No, not necessarily, but it was just out of what they think was the right thing to do. Let's say you had a bad day at school, you get home, and you're taking all of your anger out on your parents, and you think that they won't fight back. What if they did fight back? What if Moses and God fought back, and they declined what the Israelites wanted? The person who had a bad day at school and the Israelites relied on others too much, and that makes them fall because they thought that there would be some support under them catching their fall. Doing things for the greater good are things you do because you want to be a greater version of a past version of yourself and want to do something good for another person. That defines who you are. If it's my parents, God, Moses, or anyone else who does things for the greater good, it shows that you are a truly remarkable person. Today, I'm becoming a bar mitzvah. It took a while due to the pandemic, but I actually did it today. I would like to thank my parents, siblings, Nanadal, Mima, Uncle Ricky, the musicians, Cantor Condrain, Rabbi Mo, and even Laurel, Grandpa Bernie, and Poppy for clearing up the skies to me today and getting me to where I am. They all taught me valuable lessons of gratitude and cherishing life. Sure, everyone came here today to see me become man, to see me sing on this bima doing a Haftarah, but you guys also came here today to see me turn into a man, and from this point forward, take those valuable lessons I learned from them finally into account. Going forward, I will strive to acknowledge what is going on among my teachers, friends, and family. I want to take into account the consequences of my behaviors and do the best to take them into consideration. Instead of being selfish like the Israelites were my portion, I hope to be more aware of all I have and be more sensitive to the wonderful relationship I have with the people I care about. Instead of saying, I want meat, I want to remember to say, thank you for all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Yasher Koach, we say to you words of appreciation for your words of Torah and for you. It's so special for me and the Cantor to be with you and your family today. Your family is part of the fabric of this community, whether it's been at school or the morning minyan or Shabbat or Mets games where we've done a lot of praying at home and in person. It's a real privilege to have been with you, whether it's been Purim, where we saw you star as Haman a few years ago. I mean, it's just so powerful to have a chance to be here at this moment when we've had so many other wonderful moments and sometimes some sad moments here. So you've really taught us so beautifully. And as your mom referred to, you are an actor, and the reputation of the world of acting is not always so kind. It's not always so gentle. But I hope you'll take the teachings that you've shared with us today and be a force for good on the stage or on the screen, because you are a force, Ali. You are a true force. I mean, your voice projects it, your teaching projects it, but I just think your presence, you're a real force in your family. I know your brother and your sister count on you. I know your parents count on you. in your friendships and your family. It's true that you become today in our tradition a young man, and it's true that we're going to count on you to do what you said at the end, to strive, to be that person of gratitude and goodness. And personally, what a good news it is for all of us and the Jewish community in the world that you have arrived at this point of young adulthood, because this world needs you very much. And we're so glad that you're at this stage, because you're going to give us even more than you have already. I'm going to invite your parents and your brother and your sister back to the beam. We're going to invite everyone to rise. We're going to sing a song of celebration, Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov, in celebration of this great, great day in our community and in your family.
Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov U'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov U'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Siman Tov U'Mazel Tov U'Mazel Tov Siman Tov.
I saw your daddy wanted you to dance. You're like, I'm not going to dance right now. You'll dance at home. You'll dance. We'll find ways to dance, because there's lots to celebrate. I invite the congregation to remain standing. Ali, I'm going to ask you to put your mask back on, because I'm going to come to the ark with you for a private message at this time in the service. And your family can return to their seats.
Here with you beside me, I feel so greatly blessed. This moment means much more than I can say. A time to be together, a time for us to rest. Shabbat is here, the time has come to celebrate the day. So I hold you close, my hands upon your head. And from me to you, my child, these words are said. Yes, Simcha Elohim, Ke'Ephraim v'chi Menashe. May God give you life and strength like Joseph's sons. Yesibech Elohim, Kesara Rivka, Rachel v'Leah. May God make you like our mothers, like our blessed ones. May God make you like our parents, like our blessed ones.
We're about to say words of mourners Kaddish. And as we do, remember dear ones, Ali, from your family, your grandfather, David Kreitzer, your grandfather, Bernie Stern, and your dear friend, Laurel Griggs. It's so nice that you mentioned them by name in the words that you said today. And I agree with you, no doubt. Their presence is with us on this very, very special day. And for other loved ones from your family, we remember them. From those of us that are here, we think of them as we prepare to say Kaddish, we name from this synagogue community dear ones who have died in the past 30 days: Stanford Abram, Lawrence Aubrey Brenzel, Norma Friedman, Dan Goldman, Alyssa Epstein, Ellis Kern, Miriam Kleinfeld, Alan Michael Levy, Dorothy Norris, Adam Tedesco, and Larry Weisberg. And on our order of service, there are the names of others whose yahrzeits occur this season. We know that people in the congregation, as well as those joining us through our live streaming, might be saying Kaddish for their loved one today. And if so, I'll invite you to say their name out loud. I'll add the name of my uncle, Arnold Somers, as we turn to page 294 to recite these sacred words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'yomah divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'chayed chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'izman kari v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam umei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemedu kudsha b'richu, le'olam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiram b'yomah v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Aseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Amen. Oliver, we'd love to invite you back up to the bima with your siblings and your parents as we close out this beautiful morning with a song for peace. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ali, you've reminded us we all have the potential to be a force for good in our world. May it be so for each of us going forward. Shabbat shalom, everyone.